had the defense tonight.
They did really good. They corrected some mistakes from last week. Just think about Jalen Hurts had an opportunity to pick off Theo Johnson of the Giants earlier in that ball game, and then gets an opportunity in this game to pick off Carson Wentz and capitalize on it and takes it to the house, right? So the defense was able to.
And that was the play. Jalen Carter just destroyed the center.
Destroyed the center, the backup center. So you get those types of plays where the defense, makes a play. But just think about Carson Wentz. You go on one series, and we're glad to have Jalen. He throws the ball backwards for 6 yards. The next play, he throws a punt to Andrew Makuba, and he catches a pick. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing at the quarterback position? I thought our defensive line got after him and made him fluster for that portion of the game, which turned out to be a big part of the game and why we won it.
Yeah. And if he doesn't have those INTs, Wentz was a formidable opponent today. He throws for 313 yards. But they got the picks off of him, and they made him run. And he actually ran a couple of times, maybe 3 times, for first downs when you thought they'd.
That's what you're going to get from Carson Wentz. I mean, he's going to throw for 300 yards, and then he's going to make mistakes that are going to give you an opportunity. And they took advantage of those opportunities.
Well, the difference between him and Hurts,
What you get from Vic Fangio is a guy that designs interceptions. That was Jalen Hurts. You're a quarterback. He's on the line of scrimmage. He's rushing the quarterback. Also, you're dropping back. You got pressure up the middle. You don't think the defensive end or linebacker is dropping into a quick slant. He picks it off. So give Vic some credit for designing the right defense in that situation.
I mean, Nakobe, people don't. You can't downplay how good Nakobe Dean played today. I can't wait to watch the film on him from a passing standpoint, even through running through gaps and making plays, tackle for loss. He played an awful lot.
Like 30, 35
Exactly.
snaps.
But that shows the time that this team has, on the defensive side of the ball, that you got a guy like Campbell who can rush the passer and play, the standoff linebacker position. So, I mean, that's great, getting your best players on the field and them playing timely when they had to.
With regard to their offensive identity, is this it? Have they discovered it and run less and pass more and count on A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and make the big plays that way?
You know what? Until they figure out the running game.
They can't run.
Until they figure that out, I mean, they're going to have to make plays every week in the passing game, and today they did.
Well, but hold on. We were talking about the offense not running the ball. In the first half, when we had Cam in there, that's what established the whole tempo of the game. That's what made us go out there and really impose our will on them. We ran the ball, 3 times in a row, and we're moving the sticks, you know what I'm saying? Once Cam went out, things kind of changed a little bit. But it just really put the tone of the game right then and there that we're not playing around. We're going to hit you in the mouth. We're going to run the ball, play physical football, and it kind of, washed over to the defensive side of the ball. And that kind of set the tone of how things were going.
So you're getting excited about 3 runs in a row. You come on.
I love it.
And a cloud of dust.
Love it.
Yeah, they had 8 of their first 8 out of 11 were runs to start that game.
And they went down and scored.
Yeah, and they went down and scored. When Cam went out, they had to adjust the game plan. They couldn't run the ball effectively, so then they began to rely more on the passing game.
Right.
And great job by Jalen Hurts on that last touchdown to A.J. Brown. He called that from the line of scrimmage, gave him a hand signal, which made him grow the skinny seam route right there, and it was right on the money. So it was a good job of just playing quarterback by Jalen Hurts. We always say something about Jalen Hurts, but great job today. Jalen Hurts did an amazing job.
And that was the second touchdown pass between the two, where the first one, he went like, go to the fire hydrant.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
that was Sandlot. That was Sandlot.
Yeah, it was Sandlot, but it was great. That was the communication.
Absolutely.
They were in the moment.
That's an unspoken language that you have. You look at someone, you know it's like, if I look at you, you know what to do.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what happens. You could wave to everybody, but sometimes you look, give that nod, you know where he's going.
Yeah.
They
just create one of these.
AJ, I'm sorry, Jaws. AJ and Devontae combined for 304 yards. Yeah. I mean, that's like what they had the first month of the season.
Yeah. Right. Now we need Dallas Goedert saying we need to get the ball. Yeah. I need you to go.
He's going off in the locker room.
I need you to go right now to the media and say, man, they got to throw me the ball.
John Dawson's not happy.
Yeah.
But next week's show is all set.
But here's the question that you all have yet to answer. What's it going to be with the run game? Are they going to rely on the pass as they did and successfully today?
I think it's going to be there. Michael, I think it's going to be there. When that O-line is healthy and Cam's in there and he's healthy, and I don't know the seriousness of his injury. Landon played. It was great having Landon, but he made a big difference. When they're intact and they have that O-line together, I still believe they're going to be able to run the ball.
And at the end of the day, you heard what Saquon said. we forgot how it is, you know what I'm saying, to people see that we win. You know what I'm saying? No matter how it looks, running the ball, passing the ball, we're just going to do what it takes to win. All that flash and all that stuff, hey, it'll come, but just winning the game is what we need 1 point more. And that's exactly what Saquon was talking about, 1 point more.
It's not always about how many yards you rush for. It's about the intent.
Yes.
If you start the game out with saying, we're going to try to run the ball, you kind of set the tone for the game, and also you're speaking to the defensive coordinator saying this is what you're going to have to try to stop, and therefore you get favorable coverages on the back end because everyone's up trying to stop that run, and I thought that's what happened in this game. They were focused on stopping the run, therefore you had some loose ends in the back, and we were able to exploit that.
And the score dictated what the Vikings had to do. They had to bring pressure. They had to try to get a sack. They had to try to force interception. So that played right to the Eagles' hand and played to Jalen's hand.
Well, I thought, just to echo what you said about Jalen, we came on the air, I thought it said his passer rating was perfect. He was so exciting to watch. The fact that he was in traffic at the end of that game and he was dipping in and out, his field presence, I thought, and his poise, I thought was absolutely phenomenal.
Mike, that's a great observation. When I look at quarterbacks, I watch their feet. That tells you what their mind is thinking. If they're pitter-pattering fast and how they're kind of disoriented, I know they're not seeing the field with clarity. Jalen had a nice subtle type movement, moving in, moving out, stepping up, avoiding the rush, resetting his feet, and delivering the ball on target. That's NFL quarterbacking.
All right, we got to take a quick break. We come back, and we will hear from Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts. I don't think Nick Foles today. I don't want to get everybody.
He likes that
Thursday
stadium.
night, yeah, the JCC, but not today. We'll take a quick break. We come back. All our interviews by AAA looks like this. Here's A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. And Ruben can give you more of the particulars, but all you need to know
That's
is
the most
career
yards.
high, 183.
Most yards by the Eagles since Jeremy Maclin.
Jeremy Maclin, J-Mac.
186
Teammate.
in Arizona in a game the Eagles lost. So
Chip Kelly?
that was 2014. Yeah.
Look at the targets.
Mark Sanchez might have started that.
A 1-2 pinch right there, boy.
11 targets for Devontae, 6 for A.J. Brown. He had 4 catches, 9 for Devontae. 3 touchdowns between them. Devontae Smith, 79-yard touchdown catch, 45 for A.J. Brown. Spectacular outing. What do you think, Mr. Receiver?
I love it. I love it when the receivers get some action. They've been waiting for it. They got the opportunity. They made the best of it. They made critical plays. I think the play, just think about this for Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts has a critical second down where they throw it at the end of the game. Most people say, you know what, you run it in that situation. At the end of the game, they throw a slant. He throws it behind. He shakes it off. Kevin Patullo calls a slant and go with the game on the line. Why is that important? You have an aggressive cornerback in Isaiah Rodgers, and A.J. Brown's number 1 route is a slant. So knowing that, throw the ball up there, seal the game, just a great call and great trust in A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts to get that done.
Jaws, you heard this. I'm sorry, Barrett. You heard this. I'll go to you. You heard the statistic at the end of the game. It's the 13th time that Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown have had a touchdown pass each in the same game, and the Eagles are 12-0. Sometimes statistics don't tell you anything. Sometimes they do. Why not make that happen every game? 12-0.
I'll get it to the resident
They would
quarterback,
like to. Hey, you'd always like to have that type of disparity to get all your receivers involved in the game, but the defense dictated where the football should go. The great design by Kevin Patullo. We mentioned his name finally, Rube, for some good design of offense. I mean, the Smitty touchdown was beautiful. He had a post coming in the backside, reading his safety. What's he going to do? Stay backside? Yes. Then go to the post. Good design, good execution. The quarterback knows where to go with the football. But I thought overall the balance, maybe the yards weren't there running the football, but the balance was it forced the Vikings to bring another defender down in the box so you get big green grass. Like I said, when you got grass out there, that's when you throw to your wide receivers.
Yeah, I mean, they did a great job of them. And just to see the blitz coming. They called that zero coverage blitz. They called it. And even though he threw it behind the receiver, AJ, he still saw where he needed to go with the ball. Yeah. He hadn't seen that before, but he saw where to go with the ball. Even though he threw it behind him, because there was guys in his faces, hands in his faces, he was still able to get it out, which gave him an opportunity to, go to the next play. But, man, I just like the fact that he's understanding what teams are trying to do to him, and they're working their way through it.
It was zero coverage, so
zero coverage.
No one in the safety in the middle, but they brought more than you could block.
Yep.
So Jalen had to know, coming right at his forehead. That's where the defender was coming. So, hey, the throw wasn't accurate, but he hung in there and delivered the football to the right person on time.
Exactly.
He knew that he was looking down that gun barrel.
Yeah.
I think we're seeing, I mean, Jalen has really kept this thing together. I mean, he has such a good relationship with Devontae. He has a good relationship, no matter what anyone says, with AJ. And I just think it's so important. I mean, he played great because he's been able to keep this thing together at practice, in the locker room, sitting in the cafeteria talking. I don't think you can underrate what a leader he is and how big that's been. Because those guys were frustrated, and they should have been frustrated. Talking about Devontae and AJ, he kept it all together, and you see what happens. They're such good players. They're too good for what's been happening to happen. So it was great to see it finally pay off.
But I do want to put Kevin Patullo back in the mix because he is taking a lot of flack for the play calling and how little the Eagles have scored over the past 2 games prior to this one, how the offense seems to be stagnant, and sometimes you don't have the personnel.
They scored 21 points today,
I know.
so I don't want to get, send them to Canton or anything.
What do you mean? Patullo, he's right to Canton.
Just give an
right
attaboy.
to
Just
Canton.
one attaboy.
And, you look at the first half. I mean, they 75-yard touchdown drive, and the next 3 drives they netted 27 yards.
And they punted each time.
Each time. So
how did he do the second half?
he did great, but that's,
all right,
that's the thing. That's my issue with Kevin Patullo is it's always inconsistent. They haven't put together a full game yet, and they have the personnel to do it. And maybe it'll come. But so far, it hasn't.
I think they have the personnel to do it today, every week. The personnel matters big time. And whether you've got injuries or guys have left, whatever it is, do they have the personnel for him to be successful enough?
They have the personnel for him to be successful enough. It's just that when you are adamant, remember, this is a gut punch. This is not a small thing for the Eagles to go away from the run game. This is their identity. This is who the team wants to be. They want to run the football down your throat. So you're going to try every single time you get out there on offense to try to do that and to be that. And when you try that so much, you're going to get stalled drives. That's what happens when you're a run team. A team is going to have better plays and put more guys at the line of scrimmage and prevent you from doing that. They didn't really give up on the run game until later in the ball game. So that's why you have those stalled drives, is because you can't deal with the fact that we can't run the ball.
Yeah, you like the plays he's calling. You like the offense.
I do.
Philosophically.
I do. I mean, do whatever it takes to win. I mean, that to me, ultimately, that's what it is. Yes, I'm an offensive lineman. I want to run the ball. I mean, when you do that, that's demoralizing to a defense. But at the end of the day, I want us to win, too. You know what I'm saying? So for Kevin to go out there and call the plays he called, just like you were talking about, the seam route touchdown, the double move on the outside, calling, at the beginning of the game, calling 8 run plays in that first drive. It set the tone. And I love the fact that, he's confident in what he is. And the first person that came over when when AJ scored his first touchdown, he went straight over to AJ and gave him a hug. You know what I'm saying? And to me, that's what's up. You know what I'm saying? That shows,
and you're 100% right. 100% right. But ultimately, what determines where the ball goes is the defense. If the defense is loading the box, you're going to bang your head against the wall. No, you're not going to keep running against 8-man boxes. You're going to start throwing the football. All of a sudden, now the tape comes out this week. Wow, Devontae, oh, what a day he had. AJ, what a day he had. Oh, God, what a day he had. Now you're a defensive coordinator. What do you do? What are we going to play? Well, we better not load the box because they can go over the top. So now you're going to start seeing a softer coverage. That's going to set up the running game. So now you get back to my favorite word in football, balance.
No, we're playing
offensive balance, run pass balance.
We got the Giants, yeah. We got the Giants next. This is payback time, baby. Right. It's payback time.
I'm not onto them yet.
Okay.
Look at the difference. Carson Wentz locks on the guys, and we talked about that beforehand. Remember, you have a guy like Justin Jefferson that's really, really good. He locked in on him on a play. Jalen Hunt was right there the whole time. You can look at Jalen Hunt and see him there, but it was Justin Jefferson, and I'm going to throw the ball to Justin Jefferson. What happened with Jalen Hurts on the opposite end, he read his coverages and was able to distribute the ball to where it was supposed to go, not getting caught up on getting A.J. Brown or Devontae the ball, just where the ball needs to go, and that's why he was successful over Carson in this game.
Carson still, it's the same thing we saw here at the end. He still thinks he's Superman. He thinks he can make every play.
Hero ball.
And he can't.
Yep.
And I think at one point he could, but physically he's not that guy after all these injuries. Whereas Jalen plays so within himself. He knows exactly what he's capable of. He never tries to do too much. And you see that.
Yeah, almost to a detriment, almost to a detriment, not trying to force. You know what I mean? Because I thought with them running as much zone as they do, zone you almost have to be perfect because you have to, have the ball on him. It's not like he's running away from a guy. You got to sit down in the zone, so you have to be perfect on where you're going to put the ball. He didn't care about this time.
Let me go back out to Minneapolis right now. And speaking of Jalen Hurts, there he is with a big hug for Jonathan Allen. Yeah, I tried to rip your head off, but you beat me today. Jonathan Greenwood in there as well. And the last time the Eagles did hugs for Carson Wentz, the two former teammates, there's Wentz with A.J. Brown. Jake Elliott, we didn't talk about him because it's inconsequential now, but he missed a chip shot. For him, it's a chip shot, and you know he missed it. The hold was great. Everything was perfect. Went wide right. A.J. Brown with Isaiah Rodgers and a hug for him. We were talking about Isaiah Rodgers in the pregame show, whether or not the Eagles should have kept him this offseason. They should have kept him.
Still say yes.
Yeah, still say yes.
But not as vociferous a yes as 3 hours ago.
I still say it.
But just seeing that stadium, we haven't had enough Super Bowl victories. Fortunately, we have had 2 in Philadelphia, and the first one was in that stadium. And I don't know about the 4 of you, but that will always be a special place for me.
Oh man, no doubt.
We had dinner out there too. That was a great night. Okay, so that's for another show. But let me tell you, that will won't it be? We were together.
We walked into the Mall of America when we flew into Minneapolis. I look up and there's you going across the top on a bungee. What was it?
Zip line.
Yeah, a zip line.
Yeah, zip line.
Yeah,
there's Michael Barkhan up there.
Now you know what happened. It dropped me on my head. You know, and
it hasn't been the same. They took you right to the blue tent.
Were you heavily drinking?
But I was not. But a special place. Had they lost out there, it would have been brutal. It was like -10. But it was really, really great.
-10. You're being generous. So like -30 every day.
I know. Electrifying moment. Let's check this out. Brandon Graham might be, this is presented by Toyota, Beyond Zero, our electrifying moment. You know, speaking of the good vibes, how about the double nickel, 55, Brandon Graham? The reports are that he is considering coming out of retirement, a very short-lived retirement it would be, to rejoin the Eagles this season. And he has said earlier this season, I'm trying to figure out my life post-football. And he's got 2 Super Bowl rings, 2 Lombardi trophies. And he is the leader, or had been the leader in no small way on this Eagles team. And I'm sure you got a young family, and they can grow up, they can watch Dad play a little bit more. That's important. You want your kids to remember you playing?
Yeah. This is a funny story. So Michigan plays Washington yesterday at the Big House. I'm sideline reporter there.
Right.
We're honoring Brandon as the team captain. We go out for the coin toss. I'm out there at the coin toss to get the footage and everything. Brandon is talking stuff to Washington's player like, you call heads, it's gonna be tail. I was like, oh my gosh, Brandon, like chill out. This is not the segment for this, but you can tell that he's ramping up for something.
He's competitive. He's competitive. That's all right.
He never left.
He was talking junk to the Washington players over the coin toss. He's like, he's ready to go. I think he's ready to play football.
Bring him back. Bring him back. Put a uniform on him.
And that is the thing. That is the thing, whether or not he can still play. And I know he can play to some degree, but we don't know to what degree. He is coming off 2 tricep surgeries. The first one, he had to wait and played in the Super Bowl. He re-tore it in the Super Bowl, had it fixed immediately after the season. So I would think he's coming back more in a leadership role than he is to really, be the edge rusher and come away with a sack a game.
No, we don't. No? I don't think. We need him on 3rd down.
He can make a difference, though. I mean, because he keeps himself in great shape.
You have to trust him.
It might take him a couple weeks to get into football. Look, he's played for 15 years. He can get there. They get Nolan Smith back. I thought Josh Uche played really well today, but even if you can get him out there for 8 to 12 snaps.
I thought Brandon Graham at the beginning of the season last year, the Rams game, he basically won that game.
Oh, no question.
That first Rams game, he basically won that game defensively. So I think Brandon Graham, all things being equal, if he's healthy, right? So if he comes back, first of all, please come back, Brandon. But if he's healthy and he comes back, with permission of your wife, we saw Tom Brady's situation, right? So we want you to be successful. So if he's healthy, I know that he can play down after down because we don't have a defensive end that can stop the run and rush the passer with that consistency on the roster. So you may start out with a couple plays, and then before you know it, Brandon is playing all game in a few games after.
That's what Vic did. Vic said, hey, we brought him in just to be a situational guy, come in and just, come on 3rd down, maybe rush the passer here and there. But Vic was like, nah, we need him to play as much as possible, you know. So I mean,
and we all know he brings that leadership.
Yeah.
And I said before, when you look at a dictionary and ask about leadership, there's Brandon Graham's picture. That's what that guy does. He's a
definition of the
leader.
word.
Definition, yes.
He's both.
And he's talking junk in the dictionary.
That's right. There's a definition. There's 2 entries. One for trash talk as well.